I'm live again. We're going to try this for the second time. Okay. Plump Sessions, sponsored by London Arts Investment Program. We received a grant last year, and they were gracious enough to give us money to do this. I'm very excited to get these community conversations going. This is round 2 with Jessy. Uh, let's see if the internet is on our side this time. Jessy.
Okay.
Okay.
Third time's the thing,
Yep.
whatever the expression is. I forget the expression, but it better be it. Otherwise, we're
Yes.
in trouble.
Yes.
I swear I know how to work some technology. Some of it. Let's see.
We're gonna get it
Oh,
this
yeah.
time. It feels like the energy is flowing. We're
Yep.
good. Okay, so for those of you who are just tuning in, Jessy already started with giving her background, and if you just want to repeat that again, I'm
Oh,
so
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So, no, I guess I forgot what my background is. Yeah, no, sorry. Born and raised in Montreal. My parents were from Haiti. And I moved to London in about 2002. So I would have been early 20s at the time. And at the time, I started off with wanting to model. So I got involved with the agency models, which is still an agency that I'm involved with right now in terms of management. And the owner and I are very, very good friends. And she saw something in me, I guess. And basically, she decided that I was going to be good in terms of management. So soon enough, I started teaching the models. And I had to teach them. I learned a lot, first of all, because she was also a biochemist background altogether. So with all of her great knowledge that she passed on to me. She taught me everything she knew in terms of skincare, but of course she had experience in the modeling industry, sorry, for about 30 years at the time, probably more now. And basically, it was a lot of information I had to pass on to the models. I had to teach them how to maintain themselves, not just as models, but as great human beings. Um, Something that I usually say to customers in the store altogether is that your yeah, your skin is your best foundation. And after that, it's going to be your personality altogether. So there's only so much you can cover up, right? So again, trying to get them to be beautiful from the inside out is basically what I had to show them. So I got involved with exercise and fitness because a lot of the times the models can hold their core because they had been really inactive for a little bit and all of a sudden they wanted to apply um, they wanted to get their body to move a certain way and they weren't able to. So first, that's one of the things I started doing. So I got my personal training certification to Canford Pro at the time, and I started working in gyms, which coincidentally got me to do nutritional coaching, which I was also doing at the agency as well, in terms of making sure that the models had a proper diet and weren't
Mhm.
going on that fainting, for example, which had happened with people from other agencies, not mine, but people from other agencies. And then, yeah, so just making sure that, they knew how to, again, take care of themselves and teaching them how to take care of their skin. At the time as well, too, I was going to a different phase in my life where I started going natural with my own hair. And I decided that I was gonna, well, actually, it was funny. I remember my boyfriend at the time, he's like, wouldn't it be funny that you would be like somebody that would do their own skincare and sell it to people? And, look at us now. So basically, I started then. And then, of course, my models were my guinea pigs. So I figured how to take care of my hair in a natural way. But once that was the hardest part. So the easiest was really to do face care altogether and body care. So I started developing a little bit more of that. And one thing led to another. I got to, or I should say, like Quarterfire Master Family, or I found them one way or another. So Quartermaster, if people don't know, is a great health food store in Worthy Village in London, Ontario. And I had moved, my spouse and I had moved into that area. And it just happened that it was just a perfect fit. So everything that I had learned over the years or that I had been teaching over the years kind of got me to where I was at that time. So it's going to be 9 years in June that I'm at Quartermaster. I worked there and I've been working there as a health and beauty advisor and doing nutritional consult as well too. We're basically morphing that a little bit more into, well, I've been doing anyway because we're all very well grounded with supplements as well too. But basically, again, I feel like everything in my life kind of, or every part of my life led me to like the next step into my life sort of thing. So it just seems like everything fits.
Hmm.
Everything I'm where I need to be. I've always been where I needed to be. You don't realize that right off the bat until you're kind of like, wait a minute,
When you take a
that
time to
makes
think.
sense now. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, right? You can wait, take the time to think. That's the reason why you always have to trust sometimes. Well, I can't speak for other people's experience, but my
Hmm.
experience is if I trust things, I'm always where I need to be
Hmm.
for some reason or another.
Everything's just kind of like fed into one thing after the other, kind of builds your
Exactly.
foundation, which is so
Exactly.
cool. And I was saying before that one of the greatest things about you is that anytime, not only like going into quartermaster, if you run into you on the street, it's like you use every moment to educate, which is a skill that not a lot of people have. Um,
It's an interesting way to say that. I've realized that in the last year, because especially with the George Floyd
mm,
and Black Lives Matters and everything else. I kind of have been revisiting altogether and all of the past microaggressions and racism in my life. And I think, and then I realized that about myself too. It's kind of like, well, I always try to take the moment to use that as a teachable moment, but not
mm,
everybody is comfortable with that. So it's kind of like, okay, it's interesting that you see it too, but it's fascinating, isn't it?
mm-hmm. But you said that you've been at quartermaster for 9 years, but have you been in Wortley for 9 years? Is that where you went to strategic?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I've
Okay.
been in Worthley for maybe um, yeah, perhaps a couple years before that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, well, it was one of those fun thing where I had met my boyfriend a few years before that. And then he's like, he was living nearby. He's like, oh, you have to try these gala apples. They're great. I'm like, nah, I don't like gala apples. No, you have to try them from Quartermaster. They're really good. It's like, Quartermaster? Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a health food store around the corner of my house. Let's go. Okay. Next thing you know, we lived together. We start just getting one thing, two things, three things. Next thing you know, I'm behind the counter and I haven't left since.
That's so wonderful. I was saying before too, quartermaster has the best eggs. I have never
Yeah,
tasted eggs better than that.
right?
It's quite terrifying.
Yeah. We have the best herbs as well too. The freshness is incredible. Like we have a really quick turnover for spices. A lot of the places you go, you'll look at the spice and I find that they're really decorative. It's like, oh yeah, put parsley in there. I have some green stuff. It looks cute.
Mhm.
It needs to have flavor. I don't know if you realize that. It needs to actually have flavor. It needs to taste like parsley.
It can't
And
just
then
look
of
like
course, I guess for some people that's good enough. That, but there's something about, and that's something again that it feels like it's everything of my life is really philosophical. But again, you want to maintain yourself well, and again, it started with the models. It's like you want to reflect the best part of yourself,
Mhm.
and nutrition it's really tied into that, and it's really tied into what those females were doing for themselves and males as well too. But then you have to appreciate food.
Mhm.
And I know that's revolutionary for a lot of people, but you have to, if you want to have a healthy relationship with food, you have to appreciate food. You have to appreciate the taste of it. So having a relationship with food is, and I mean, it's to some extent, it seems like it's a little bit materialistic. It's all about what you see on the outside, but I feel like it leads to something inside as well too, where you have an understanding where your food comes from, who grows your food. You smell it, taste it, you appreciate it. The whole experience makes it a better experience to you to begin with. And I think it would solve a lot of issues for a lot of people, especially with,
Mhm.
weight. Well, I mean, I'm saying weight loss, but any kind of this body image issues altogether, or,
Mhm.
just
Or even
even
removing.
with COVID, I
Yeah.
think people don't realize where their stuff is coming from until they realize there's a cut down the line, like that you can't get it anymore. And then you realize, wait a minute, where is that coming from?
Hmm. Yeah. And could you speak to your relationship with food, and even if you want to talk about nutrition overall, and then being a duathlete as well? Duathlete, that word was
Well,
always.
yeah, well, it can be a little bit obsessive, and I'm a little bit
Mhm.
obsessive about it. It's, and my boyfriend is really great at trying to keep things balanced all together. But yeah, so I started doing duathlons about, I think I said less than 90. I think we were talking, I belong to a club or a group that's called Epic Sport Performance, and we had a bit of a virtual meeting. And I was introducing myself, and I think I said that I've been doing this for 6 years, but I think it's been longer.
Okay.
So maybe 6 or 7 years. So let's say 7 years. And I just, again, I was personal training, and then I saw all the other personal trainers, sorry, having uh, goals for themselves, and they were running marathons as well too. And I'm like, you know what, it'll be nice. If at some point in my life I get chased by a bear, I want to be able to kind of run away from the bear.
That's
You
your
know,
limit. Yeah.
yeah. And while I'm at it, I might as well be able to kind of like lift heavy things as well too. And oh, and I like biking. And maybe at some point I'll be in the middle of the ocean. It'll be nice to kind of swim out of the ocean, at some point in my life. I never really got to the ocean part, and I think I'm going to give up on that because there's just like, why would you be in the middle of the ocean for no reason? I don't know. Well, some people do. I do have friends that will do that, but
Not you.
yeah,
Not you.
it doesn't seem like it's my calling. I'll leave that to them. But then I've been training at the Y myself, just for myself, for a few years, and I built quite a good community there actually. And then I saw this advertisement for the triathlon club, and one of the coaches, funny enough, was living two doors down, well, a few doors down from me, and then another coach from that triathlon club lives right behind me. So again, it was meant to be. So and then it was one of those things where they were like, you know what, maybe triathlon is not your thing, but there's such thing as duathlon.
So what's
I
the
think you'll
difference
be
for
good
those
at
who
that.
don't know? What's the
Okay,
difference?
so
Yeah.
triathlon starts with in the water, and then you swim, and the distance can vary depending on what you choose to do. Of course, the more you want to challenge yourself, the more of a different endurance level you're going to be at, obviously. Then there's going to be, and in between all of those stages, there's going to be transition periods, but then you have biking, and then you have the running part. So the coach kind of signed me that. I was kind of like, you know what? Yeah, I think you should stick to biking or running, and I think you'll be really good at it. Well, they weren't really wrong about being good at it. So I kind of started racing, and you start what we call podiums. So you start getting medals and everything because you end up winning in your age category.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of been working really well for me. So for example, I got to be on the Canadian team, to be on the national team to go for the championship, for example. So there's a triathlon and duathlon, or multi-sport, sometimes they call it, championship each year, which obviously the last couple of ones have been canceled. But that brought me to Denmark a few years back in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a wonderful experience. Of course, I got lost somehow. I missed the turn, and then I got
You got
disqualified. But that's a different story. That wasn't part of the question. The question
okay.
is how nutrition fits into that.
Yeah.
So it's just that I had to give you the background story. My voicemail
Yes.
says that I give like the longest stories, but it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, I use myself a lot like, as a guinea pig.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it makes me very curious minded. I like to know the why things are going a certain way. I'm looking at everything that's going on in my body, how it's behaving in other people's bodies, and I like to listen to a lot of people's experience. So everything about that sport kind of, it's basically another level of what I already do at work and what's already fun for me to begin with.
Yeah.
And funny enough, because I realized that a lot of people in that community, the traveling community, at least in London, Ontario, actually a lot of them are near Worthy area or come to the store as well too. So I've developed quite a relationship with a lot of them. A lot of them close friends. They do just live right down the streets, for example. So one thing morphed into another. I've been saying that since the beginning, but yeah, it just seems like it
just continues to like Russian nesting egg.
yeah, exactly. Like I'm like rushing doll myself, and it's like I don't know where that's going to lead me to. But again, um, yeah, no, it's been just fascinating. And the perks of the industry in the natural health food industry is that you'll have a lot of people supporting that. They want you to be your best, and often enough, they'll just give you something and they say, you know what, try it, see how it influences your performance.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been able to try a lot of things. Some things work, some things doesn't, and sometimes it's just me and it doesn't agree with my physiognomy. Sometimes it's interesting to know why. What is it about my physiognomy that does that altogether as well too. Um, what am I going to be, like, I mean, in terms of female hormones, sometimes it's something that's interesting to look into in terms of how that affects your training, and how that's going to affect your training in the long run. What are some of the exercises that I can do, or how can I eat in order to better my body for, whenever you hit menopause, for example. So
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people think, okay, well, you're too young, sort of thing, but sometimes you want to start looking at things, a decade ahead, sort of thing. And again, it's just really fascinating to me. That's kind of my definition of fun.
Hmm.
Go back home and
Yeah.
read nutrition studies, but whatever. Everybody does that. Everybody does
Everybody does. So we're
that. Or
kind
go back home and email all your colleagues about all the nutrition studies you've been like, yeah, yeah, yeah. No.
of just have like it all the bookmarks perfectly organized to send to people.
We're not there yet because
No,
there's too many bookmarks from the past decade.
wow. Okay, decade. Okay,
But
so
yeah, it's been an interesting chapter of my life, and again, it just doesn't seem like it's stopping.
mhm. So with all of that in mind, because we are near the end, the 15 minutes goes by very quick.
I
I
told
wonder,
you.
I know it's great. I love it. I wonder what are you most looking forward to in the future? Whether that's in the next couple of months, or if you're looking to something this week, or even thinking a bit further down the line when we all, can be outside again healthily.
It's weird because I never thought of that. I thought I was too, um, like I'm just have too much energy to be in the moment. Everybody is kind of like, you have to stay in the moment, and it's kind of like, I don't know what that means. But I think that's what COVID has taught a lot of us is that, and I've been saying that to a lot of our customers at the store too, is that I don't know. And it's probably a good idea to be able to say, you know what, whenever you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah,
And I don't know. At this point, to some extent, I don't care. I'm just gonna be, I need to be happy now.
I
I
like that.
can't wait until this is all done to be happy. I
Yeah.
have goals for myself. I want to go on to Team Canada again. I am again morphing into again more into a supplement role at the store as well too, and that's going to be a lot of fun. For example, so there's going to be miniature goals here and there, but I have been just kind of living into okay, I'm happy now. This is it for me, and if I'm just going to trust. And it's hard for a lot of people because there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things going on into the community. There's a lot of things going on in politics. There's a lot of things going on that the Black community has to face as well too.
Mm,
But to some extent, there's not a lot. And if you can change something, great. And if you can use your powers to change things, great.
yeah.
But to some extent, the only thing you can do is the only thing you have control on is yourself and what good you can bring to your community. And that's all I'm going to focus on. And again, I'm going to stay in the present, stay in the now, and just enjoy it day after day. And it's hard for a lot of people. I understand that. A lot of
Yeah.
people are closed into their houses. Retail is really challenging for us as well to the store. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But I have such a strong team. Let's focus on what I have. I
Yeah.
have my health. I have great people in my life. I have people that make me smile. I have a community. And that's really important. I don't think I would have found that in Montreal because it
Mm,
was too big of a city. And then I lived in North End of London for a bit. And then again, whenever I moved to Worthley, I found that community. So I think that's where I'm going to invest my time in. And I'm not going to look out too far into the calendar. I'm just going to be happy in the moment now. I never thought I would be able to say that. Maybe I'm getting wiser, whatever.
yeah, and it's worth it to say you've been getting love this entire conversation, but this last
I didn't notice.
it was
I'm
like
trying to make sure that the internet doesn't give up on us right now.
no, I think that's resonating with a lot of people because it's hard to remember that you can just be happy now and not know what's coming next because we're so
You
up
have to trust.
planning and yeah, the trust is
You
really
have to trust. I mean, I could plan, but again, everything in my life has led me to a different chapter of the same thing.
yeah.
I mean, it hasn't been easy. I've had a lot of tears and cries and then people were there for me and everything. And then 2 days later, it's kind of like, oh,
The sun.
I'm just going to trust that that's what's going to happen. It's
Yeah.
not going to be easy. I don't think it's meant to be easy. That's the thing is that we
Hmm.
need to train for things whenever they're not easy. And I think that's also a thing that triathlon has taught me is that you train hard, you enjoy yourself sometimes, you try things, it doesn't work your way, wipe over it, keep doing it again. It's a bit of the definition of insanity too, but whatever.
Love it. Well, Jesse, it has been wonderful talking to you, and I'm sure
It is fun.
in, has loved everything that you have to say. So we'll just sign off here. And thank you so much for being a part of Plump Sessions.
And thank you so much, Internet, for not giving up on me again. Thanks, Lisa.
Love it. Have a good night, everyone. Have a
You
good
too. Bye.